It goes way beyond simply drinking more tea. Though, that helps. Welcome to Watch Mojo UK, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 easy ways to be more British. Before we begin, if you enjoy this video, please subscribe for more great content. For this list, we're looking at the habits and traits one could acquire to come across as more British, so you'll never seem out of place when you're invited to one of the Queen's dinner parties. Best be prepared, right? Quite right.
What I reckon is that if they had themselves proper jobs, they wouldn't be up to all this, larking every night.
What?
Number 10, go to the pub. Well, this one is pretty self-explanatory, isn't it? Simply pop down to a local, queue up, get a round in, get hammered, and you're already halfway to being a true Brit. Doesn't even have to be on a weekend, can be a Thursday night, Tuesday afternoon, Monday morning, they open early. You can't beat the atmosphere of a traditional British pub, plus we Brits are famous, or is that infamous, worldwide for our drinking exploits. And if you have one too many and end up getting barred for the foreseeable future, well, that just adds to the Britishness. Number 9, grumble, but don't let it out.
Why has no one come to take our order? Hey.
So, after a 45-minute wait, your lasagna finally arrives. At least, a lasagna is what you ordered.
If that is homemade, I'll dance in this restaurant tonight, start bollard naked. Because that is not homemade.
This more resembles a cream soup with some still frozen beef swimming around somewhere in the middle. Of course, British manners won't allow you to complain, but my gosh, will you have a good moan about it.
Oh no, dear, it's not as bad as that. I've had worse.
I don't know how they get away with it.
Everything all right?
Yes, thank you.
When the waiter asks if everything's okay, you'll simply smile through gritted teeth and say, everything's great. You'll finish your plate, but you'll always have the sweet relief of a good grumble.
Why don't you say something?
Well, there's no point, is there? We just won't come here again.
Number 8, live for TV soap operas. We may be living in the golden age of television, but as much as we enjoy the likes of Game of Thrones and The Handmaid's Tale, they'll never compare to mainstays like EastEnders and Corrie. And let's face it, British soaps will outlive any big-budget American TV series that comes along. The trials and tribulations of the soap characters we've invited into our homes for years perfectly encapsulate British life.
Bruv, trust me and the pizza boys, yeah, we come in heavy blood. Sons of anarchy thing.
Get out of it. You off your nut, you, I'm telling you.
The sometimes corny acting just adds to the charm. And catching up with a Hollyoaks omnibus is as British as it gets.
I am so sorry. I don't think there's anything more they can do. My world was shattered, I was torn apart.
Number 7, refuse to walk through a doorway first. It's another case of instilled British manners working against you.
After you, sir? No, after you, sir.
You want to pass through a doorway, but someone intends to do the same. It's only British to insist the other person go through first, though they may extend the same courtesy.
Oh no, take lead, please. No, honestly, after you.
It's then you have a standoff on your hands that could take some time.
After you.
While you could possibly be stuck outside in the rain or have an important meeting to get to, the more of these duels you win, the more British you'll be.
After you? No, after you.
Oh, after you.
After you.
I said after you.
Number 6, adopt the local dialect. The dialect you'll be taking on will, of course, be dependent on whereabouts in Britain you are.
A boot?
Aye, vandals, What is it all about?
Oh, about, sorry. Sometimes it's difficult to understand the Geordie people.
You might find yourself addressing people as pet a lot if you're in Newcastle, like, or bruv if you're in London.
This ain't that kind of movie, bruv.
If you're an outsider in Scotland, Northern Ireland, or Wales, you'll have to decipher the typically thicker accents before you can even think about using the local pet names yourself.
It's not Irish. It's not English.
How are you? Fair, what is my kindest for the horses, you know?
It's just pike.
Every country and even county within the UK has its own unique slang which could appear as alien to the uninitiated.
Rita's tea kettle, yes. And then she shat on a turtle.
Number 5, be proud of your garden.
We could sit in the garden.
Garden?
Yeah, there's a garden at the back. It's always been there. I'm sure it's still there.
Brits are always sure to put meticulous care into maintaining their gardens, if not just to upstage the neighbours.
And these are exactly the sort of plants that you have to get rid of from your garden before you start to plant your herbaceous border.
While the typical British weather may seem to render the whole exercise pointless, it's best to be prepared for when there's a brief spell of sunshine so you can get the barbecue started. Whether you've done the hard graft yourself or took a shortcut and hired a professional to do the dirty work, taking pride in one's garden is a staple of the British character.
Missed one.
Number 4, complain about the Americans, the Germans, and the French. Despite the wars waged against America, Germany, and France coming to a close a long time ago, the stream of complaints aimed at our former foes has never stopped.
And in case anything should happen to you, what are your plans?
To beat the French.
Typically reserved Brits can find the general forwardness of Americans a bit much for their tastes.
Fine, thanks.
Fine, thanks.
While Germans have a habit for stealing the sun loungers on holiday. And the French, well, they're bloody French, aren't they?
As far as I'm concerned, the only thing the French should be allowed to host is an invasion.
Regularly bad-mouthing any of these inhabitants goes a long way in filling the British trait quota. Number 3, love a bargain. Be it from a car boot sale or second-hand store, Brits do love a bargain. Sometimes the item being purchased may not even be desired. It's just the thrill of knowing you're getting it with a few quid knocked off.
Well, if you're going to negotiate, the pair of you, try and negotiate round about £40, £45.
We even like to see others land themselves a shrewd deal. TV programmes have even been made about it. As the Tesco slogan says, every little helps.
Tesco, every little helps.
So never take the initial asking price as gospel, always haggle, or at least look elsewhere until you find a better offer.
It's a bit out of my price range, I think.
I quite like that.
Number 2, wear summer clothing at the first sight of sun. Hot, warm, or even bright weather is a scarcity for foggy old Britain. So the moment there's even a ray of light piercing through the grey clouds above, you better have your vest top, short shorts, and sandals at the ready. This is not a drill. Just be braced for the chiropractic therapy you're going to need after a day of sunbathing on the pebbles of Brighton Beach. Of course, before long, a classic Brit will be complaining that it's too hot and missing the days of thunderstorms and blizzards.
Dad! Dad! This way! This way! Over here! Over here!
Number 1, eat a traditional roast dinner on a Sunday.
I thought I'd order us some food.
Oh, lovely. And what could be more English than a pub lunch?
Yeah, absolutely.
The ultimate British tradition. Turkey, chicken, roast beef, pork, lamb, or a combination of any or all with some veg on the side, all doused in gravy.
Gorgeous, dark, rich gravy. So good. It's not right unless you fill up the Yorkshire pudding.
Delicious. While traditionally the Sunday roast would be eaten after a visit to church, most Brits have got in on the act, whether they're among the faithful or not. You can even go full Brit and combine this entry with others on the list. Perhaps tuck into a roast at a local pub, grumble about it the whole time, but refuse to complain. Still, beats whatever the Germans are eating.
Crispy and nice and light, look at that.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from Watch Mojo UK and subscribe for more great content.